Welcome to another episode of Talking with WIT, Kevin and Son, featuring people you should know. Hi, I'm Kevin McLemore. I am your show host, four-time published author, matter of fact, award-winning author of Sprinkles, the True Spirit of Christmas. I'm also a public speaker and a mindset messenger, as my friends will call it. This episode today is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network. Our mission is very simple. It's through the power of your voice. We want to inspire, share stories and experiences and perspectives using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. We showcase people you should know. Our purpose is very simple. We want to create hope, HOPE, helping other people every day. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to tell you, you've probably heard me say this before, whatever your objectives in life, successful people create a framework around their day-to-day lives that not only enhances theirs, many times, like my guest today, they pour into others. This podcast will reveal the secrets of finding happiness over the holidays. Today's guest will share her steps of overcoming stress, the strain, preparing for guests, shopping, managing your time, and the hallmark moments that bring out the very best and the very worst in all of us. Our guest, believe it or not, she is a multiple-time TEDx speaker, three-time best-selling author, host of an internet TV show and radio show, and founder of The Steps to Happiness. So if you're looking for the answers of joy and peace, love and happiness over the holidays, then your search is over. So let me welcome to our show. I call her the happiness queen, but she is a happiness coach, Miss Teresa Greco. Welcome to the show and happy holidays. I'm going to say Merry Christmas. I don't know why. We're going to talk about what's politically correct. This is going to be totally uncut today, people. Teresa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And what a beautiful introduction to the show and also to me and my work. Thank you so much. And to the discussion that we're going to have today. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, holidays for most of us, not all of us, um, we carry a heavy load. Like Jesus Christ had to carry the cross through the town. The burden we carry for some reason justified, others is not. And I called my good friend Teresa, says, um, this is a stressful time for many. There's hallmark moments for all of us. I know I have my own. I want to talk about how do we bring happiness to the holidays. And Teresa was so gracious to say, yeah, let's do it. She was over the top excited. So, Teresa, I don't know how you guys celebrate Christmas or the holidays over in Canada, but I know here, soon as Halloween ends, we start putting up Christmas lights. Not we, the marketing company starts celebrating Christmas. Um, um, Tree trimming places start celebrating Christmas. The conversation comes up Christmas, and they bypass Thanksgiving. I don't know why we sacrifice the turkey so much when we're already thinking about Christmas. But how does Christmas happen in Canada? When does it start?
No, the same thing. Same thing. Like Starbucks does their fall drinks and pumpkin and all that. And then as soon as like Halloween's over November 1st, it's Christmas. It's
It,
Christmas
I,
November 1st.
I don't know how you feel, but I'm going to tell everyone it's marketing. I know that there's probably some um, numbers that are put together for this on how to sell because Christmas starts in July 25th, then it's August 25th, then it's September 25th, and then it's full-blown Christmas. I wish you really would stop and let one holiday have its own holiday before we start marketing. We're going to shop no matter what. All right. We're going to have issues with family no matter what. Let us deal with Thanksgiving first. So let's start with some of your let me back up. I was going to talk about traditions. What's the worst Christmas you've ever had?
I don't think I've ever had a worse Christmas. Thank goodness. I
And
haven't had.
that's why you're the happiness queen.
I would
You,
say that last Christmas was the most stressful one that I've had, which I'm excited to talk about because It is where this conversation for me also originated from, because of all the work that I do on happiness. It didn't make sense to me why the last Christmas wasn't as happy as the past ones had been. And then I also, well, then I went deep. I spoke to spirit. I got a little bit of information about why Christmas wasn't the best. And now I want to share all of that learnings with people so that they can do it differently too this year.
All right. For those people that had a horrible Christmas last year, for those people that broke tradition, because we're gonna ask you about tradition in your household, and I'll share with mine if you have any interest. You feel free to ask. Um, let's talk about tradition. What's Christmas like in your house?
Okay, so typically on my side, we do Christmas Eve. So it's my family on Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas Day, it's my husband's family. So that's typically how it goes. Christmas Eve, last year was the first time I had to host it. In the past, we would have it at my mom's or my sister's house. Last year, it fell upon me to do. So I had it Christmas Eve at my house. It brought a lot of stress. More stress than I anticipated. Christmas Day was still at my mother-in-law's, and which is that's been tradition doing it there. And we bring food, different appetizers, well, different things. So we all cooperate in what we're going to bring, so she doesn't have to cook as much. So that's fine. And it wasn't in my home, so of course not as stressful. This year, on the other hand, I need to do both. Technically, I'm supposed to be doing Christmas Eve with my side and also Christmas Day. It falls. We are now breaking tradition that my mother-in-law is now getting too old to be able to handle all of it at her house. So I said, I will do it at my house. But I'm not doing it 2 days in a row. so, so I'm not doing that. So people had to compromise, and we're doing it all at my house on Christmas Eve. So I am trying to keep in mind the learnings that I gained from last Christmas and to try to bring more of that into this year so that I will have a much more enjoyable time.
All right. Anyone when the holidays comes up in your circle, Bah Humbug, Scrooge, um, the Grinch, anyone family member like that can, I wish Christmas never came.
No,
Um,
thank God we don't have anyone that speaks so poorly of Christmas, but we always have those slightly difficult family members who you try to limit interaction with throughout the year. But of course, the holidays means that you may have to engage with them more than you would like. And so there are all strategies with that, right? How do we interact with people who are part of our family and we're now forced to be in the same vicinity with them? How do we manage to still survive Christmas Eve, Christmas, the holidays, knowing that we have to spend more time with them? There are
all
all
right.
strategies there too.
All right. So how does one deal with someone that you invite to the holiday party that happens to be a family member that has gone through some stuff before the holidays and just doesn't want to celebrate the holidays? Uh, what are some steps or the mindset of us being happy about the holidays, someone overcoming grief, the breakup of a relationship, the loss of a job? I still don't know why. And I'll say this to all employers: stop firing people in the month of December. You can wait 30 days in order to do that. I don't know why they do that. How do you create conversation or an environment around a person that life is pretty much falling apart, or as someone would say, life just sucks. I hate the holidays.
And I think that that is a time that we have to step up our love for others, our compassion for others. That as soon as you said that, it was like that person just needs love. They need so much love because they are in so much pain. And so instead of saying, well, I'm not going to talk to them, I'm not going to get near them, I'm not going to, not to say that you have to suffocate them, right? But to let them know that you're there, that if they want to talk, you're there to listen to them. And that is a time for us to let people know they're not alone that they have people there that love them and care for them. Now, to say if it's people that you are not so fond of, you know, maybe a different approach might be better. But for those people, as you said, who have gone through certain situations just prior to the holidays that can make the holidays difficult, it's where we extend even more love to those individuals so that they know that they're connected with others, and physically as well as energetically. And so love is always the solution. And especially in your suffering, when you feel like nobody gets it, no one understands what I'm going through, is just to extend your hand out to say that I'm here for you. If you want to talk, I love you, and I'm here for you.
I know when we had this conversation originally a couple months ago, um, I talk about mental health, suicide rate during the holidays, especially during Christmas, especially during with Black men, um, is at an all-time high. Um, and a lot of times people are not aware of the signs. And I know with me, I've learned through people that I have lost unexpectedly. I get a random phone call. People just saying how grateful they are and how much I mean to them in their lives. And when you ask them what's wrong, they basically tell you everything's going to be all right. Or you hear this, next year will be better. And when you say that to them, they turn around and won't be a next year. How do we deal with someone that we think is in crisis during the holiday?
That's tough. That's really tough because there are those situations where, as you said, sometimes there are signs, but sometimes there aren't. And I think that we need to lean on our intuition and our gut instinct, and lean into our spiritual selves, that it is always guiding us and communicating with us. And so if we have a thought to call someone, we should, because sometimes it's because we're all connected energetically. So if someone's thinking about you, you're probably thinking about them too. And if you've gotten the download to say, you know what, give Kevin a call, we should jump on that. We should listen to that instinct to say, maybe that we need to spend a little more time. We need to give a call. We need to go see, or whatever that is, instead of saying, well, I don't have time for that. That's what we usually do. I don't have time. We're all busy all the time. There isn't ever not enough things to do. But I think if we lean into the intuition, that if we don't get a good feeling, even when we're talking to that person, that should be an indication to us that maybe we need to like lean into them a little bit more than we might, and maybe offer whatever help we can in a situation, whether it's directing them to like go see a health practitioner, or talking more about, because I've been in that place too, in that dark place where you don't want to talk to anybody because you feel like you don't want to be judged, you don't want to be um, misunderstood. You don't want maybe to be looked at it in a certain way in your suffering or whatever that is. And part of my message has been to know that we need to reach out, that there are caring people around us that do love us, even when we feel and we think nobody does, but that those people exist. And when we go to them in those time of crisis, it actually allows people to rise up and be who they need to be for you. That I realized that I figured out who really loves me for me, and who is just around just because of, for social or whatever, that it really wasn't that they didn't find me of value, or they really appreciated me. And so in my low point, when I started to share it with people and those people started to rise up, I realized, wow, I do have people around me that actually care and love me. But sometimes we have to be vulnerable enough to open up, to be able to allow somebody to show you that compassion. And, Kevin and I, when we spoke for the first time, it was that kind of moment between us, that I was this very raw, vulnerable person that I would never have allowed myself to be in the past. But you in that moment stepped up somehow. And I think that we have to know that it's okay to do so, and to allow people's kindness, and generosity of their time, and their compassion to come out. And unfortunately, a lot of times it's through crisis that that part of ourselves happens to get shown. And I think from a bigger picture, like when we talk about, natural disasters that happen on this planet, people rise up in times of crisis in ways that you would never imagine. And there's so much kindness inside of people that that situation allowed it to come out from those people, to actually to be shown. And it's beautiful, because otherwise we're running around and we're always hurried and things are rushed, and sometimes we don't, and those moments are so important for us. And so that's how I would feel, that I'd like to answer that question. What do you think, Kevin?
Oh, wasn't expecting that one. Um, Ask me the question. Now
So
I'm being interviewed by you.
you said that, what how would I handle a situation in which you could see that someone might be in crisis, that
Um,
because of the challenge of this season, and you said the high suicide rates and whatnot, how do you think that you would suggest people extend themselves?
well, the first thing that I would not do is that I would not address a person by text. I would not text or email, or send an emoji. I think that's a lazy way of communicating to someone you claim to care about. The same way that I think wishing someone happy birthday via social media is just not a sincere happy birthday or Merry Christmas or whatever the case may be, if it's that personal. I think when you get a phone call or that odd phone call that doesn't seem to be the norm, I think you need to, the way that I do it, in the same way with this podcast, I've taught myself to be a professional listener, and I look for openings and I ask questions. Are you all right? And I normally ask that question when I'm talking to someone 5 different ways in order, because what happens is the first time that's there's a lie. Um, and most people, when they're going through some stuff, they do want to talk about it. It's just not right at the moment. I'll find a second way to ask the same question, but in a different way. And it's an open-ended question, asking the same thing: Are you all right? If you need me, I will be there. And the second portion of that, and this is really, I said 5 times, most people, they will confirm the story that they want you to hear, because they want to get it out, but they're not ready to get it out. But they are ready to get it out. The third time, you start to peel back the layers of asking questions on, are you alone? Are you with someone? Have you been to work? How's life treating you? What are your plans for the holiday? All right. When you start asking those type of questions, whatever those type of questions ask for, finite answers. It's not, infinite answers. It's finite. Either yes, no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be over Aunt Karen's, or I'm going to be alone. Well, if you're going to be alone, my door is always open. All right. And the fifth part of it is, um, why don't we get together? I love to meet you. Since you're going to be alone for the holidays, why don't we do our own little Christmas together? All right. And see that person face to face, because it's almost impossible for someone to have someone reach out to them and make time for them when they are already in turmoil. Because 9 times out of 10, they're looking for someone to talk them off the edge of the chair, ask them to hand them whatever weapon they have that they're holding to their mouth or their hand, or asking them not to take the handful of pills that they have no idea what's going to happen afterwards. And that's what I do. It's the reason why we have 5 digits on our hand, is to ask those 5 questions the same way those 5 digits represents the 5 people that are closest to you, excluding your mother and father. Those are your real friends. That's your circle of friends, those 5 digits. So if you look at, who's in that circle, who trust you, instead of people being so busy. If I hear something in a conversation, I am never too busy for a friend. And a good friend is the person that calls and asks for help. And sometimes they may not say it directly, but I put me to the side and it's all about you. That's why I landed. That was a great question. You're such a great show host. Okay.
Beautiful response. What a beautiful response. And that reminded me of a TEDx talk that got delivered the day that I delivered mine, and it was on mental health. And he proposed, well, first he shared the stat that 1 in 5 individuals suffer from mental health issues. So if 1 in 5 are suffering, that leaves 4 people that are not and 1 person that is. Imagine if those 4 people rose to the occasion to support that one individual. Isn't that amazing? What a support system. And it's interesting because you used the number 5 there too, which is what reminded me of this stat and of this idea of having 4 support people to support the one who needs it. And so that was just something that came to mind too. What a beautiful strategy. And I think that again, that intuition would cause you to continue to probe and keep asking, you know, are you okay? Are you okay? Because there's something in the response that tells you, like it's a feeling, right? Inside of
Right.
us that's something is off. Let me keep trying. And I think that was also key in what you shared. Let me keep trying. It wasn't just, oh, let me just ask, how are you? Right? How many times do we say, how are you? But nobody really wants to know the answer.
Right.
And I think that is the difference between somebody who actually cares and somebody who's just asking it because it's just a common thing that we do, but not that anyone actually cares, or not that anyone in a lot of times actually shares a real response. And you also shared that too, that you said the first response might just be is the lie, where they're like, oh yeah, I'm fine. But you keep probing because your intuition is saying something's a little off here. Let me keep asking.
Yeah. I want to ask you this because I know in my conversation, and the reason why I wrote my book, Sprinkles the True Spirit of Christmas, is because I got to a point that I'm going, people really don't know what Christmas is, what it really is supposed to be. Is it the great gifts under the trees, the time spent with family members? What is Christmas? What is it? If I were to ask you that, what is Christmas?
Well, I would go back, it goes back to like my Catholic roots. That Christmas is the day that we celebrate the birth of Christ and all of that story. And so that is the core of it, but it's all lost, right? So we time, where we went to church on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. And when we were going to school, we were really learning around, what the truth is around why we celebrate that. But of course, people have distanced themselves more and more from, religion and I think what the holiday really means. And it's just become another marketing and consumer day where it's more about what can I get versus what can I give.
Right.
But getting in like material things um and less about, the fact that we're supposed to be having fun with family and reconnecting with our loved ones and the real meaning for me, which is really, I think, connecting with family and celebrating the fact that uh the son of God was born at some time in this holiday
Yeah.
holiday season. What about for you?
Well, for me, it's a lot like you just said that, and it was probably the best Christmas I ever had. I didn't grow up in a well-to-do family, and I don't remember if my father got laid off his job Christmas, but I remember this so vividly. We had one of those. I'm dating myself. Those aluminum trees. It looked like someone had taken aluminum foil and made a tree out of it. And then we had this little rotisserie lamp that had all the primary colors on it, red, yellow, and green, that rotated and showed. We didn't have one present under the tree, not one present. Um, but we had each other. It was probably the best Christmas that I've ever had. I just had my mom, my dad, my brothers, and my sisters. I remember my little sister having to go to the hospital because I had a Hot Wheel a car that I had left the axle laying on the floor, and she stepped on it and went through her toe. So we were in an emergency room. But it was by far the best Christmas. And so when I wrote Sprinkles, the true spirit of Christmas, I didn't write about Christmas. I wrote about people coming together. I wrote about people loving each other and finding hope and finding out what was in their hearts. And that's what Christmas meant to me. I don't know to our listeners how Christmas resonates. If your Christmas is the exclamation point of your Christmas is by how big or how valuable the gift is. I congratulate you, but I also feel sorry for you because it's more about that. If you're confused on why we celebrate the Christmas based on your own biases or beliefs or interpretation of the beliefs of why we celebrate Christmas, I mean, we pull back the layers and Christmas was a pagan holiday. But if you really look at, in my point of view, from where I sit, what Christmas is the moment that you spend time with your loved ones and you share unforgettable moments and you create new memories and you get a chance to eat food that you normally wouldn't eat and you have to work out those calories. So, for me, that's it for Christmas.
Mhm.
So,
Thank, thank you
I'm
for
curious.
that.
I'm curious with my listeners, and hopefully we'll pull back the layers on some other people's story. I do know some of my fondest memories were around some of the holiday movies. Now you're in Canada. What are your favorite movies? Christmas movies.
Right. Well, Home Alone is the one that stands out. And there's another one with Chevy Chase in it too. I think there was another
Chevy
Christmas.
Chase Christmas Vacation. All right.
Yeah, that one too. And then there's some other ones now that are similar. If they're home, Daddy's Home or something like that, it's out also. And there's a Christmas version. That one also reminds me so much of the Chevy Chase one with the Christmas tree and the lights and just really, just
Is,
really
is
funny.
Daddy's Home? Is that Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg's movie?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mark is a personal friend of mine. So
Wow.
that was a hilarious movie. And so I hope more people see that.
Uh-huh.
Um, that is so cool. You're one of the first people that didn't say Die Hard was on that list. Okay.
No. No, not that one. What about for you?
One, as a child, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Charlie Brown Christmas was the top one or two. As an adult, my must-see movie is The Holiday. I so enjoy that. Die Hard is on that list. Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation, and every last one of the Santa Claus. Okay. I don't I've watched this so many times I can almost recite some of the lines in it going through. I love that movie. Favorite foods for the holiday? What do you look
Mm.
forward to holiday?
The turkey dinner, the mashed potato, the stuffing, all of that, and that all the fixings with it. That's oh my God.
All right.
And you?
My grandmother's German chocolate cake.
Oh.
Um, and the funny thing about the holidays is my grandmother always made what is that called? I think it's only one made and they always pass it around. Those fruit rolls, fruit cakes.
Uh-huh.
All right. I've never seen one person ever eat a fruit cake, but I know when I watch my grandmother prepare it and it basically is fermented fruit and whatever, I know for a fact they pass that around from one family to another and no one eats it. It probably goes circles all around the world for that.
Fermenting even more.
Yes, 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 yes. Um,
Oh my goodness.
what is the best gift, your unforgettable gift for Christmas?
I feel I'm going to answer this question by saying not that my children were born around Christmas. However, I believe that they are my greatest gifts. So I I appreciate them all, like every day I appreciate them, but I appreciate them maybe that much more just at Christmas when we're taking our family pictures and we're in front of the Christmas tree. I believe they are my greatest miracles. They are my greatest work, my greatest masterpiece. Um, they are everything to me. That I've done so many cool and amazing things, but my children and me mothering them to be for them to be the best versions of themselves, to guide and support them to live the life that they came here to live, whatever's on their soul and spirits journey, and me to support them on that. They are my greatest gift. So
All right.
blessed with them.
All right. I guess we're going to go tit for tat on this. I would echo the point of my children have been my greatest gift, but I've got friends that are in my life that I consider a gift. But the dumbest thing that I've ever done on Christmas, which is a gift of God for me, is that when my oldest daughter was born, her birthday is 2 days from mine. Mine's the 10th of December. Hers is the 12th. I did not have the money for a Christmas tree. And at that time, I had a gray Honda Civic hatchback. A good friend of mine, Squeaky, his name is Jonathan Rice, but he sang in my group and they called him Squeaky. I had asked him because I wanted to go get a tree. We had backed the Honda up to a tree farm that was on there. I reached out and grabbed the trunk of the tree and held on while he sped off and dragging this tree down so I can have a tree for my daughter. Little did I know on Christmas Eve that as soon as Christmas Eve turned into Christmas Day, that they would give the tree away. And I actually look back at it now. I said, I could have gone to jail Christmas Eve for stealing the Christmas tree, but I wanted my daughter to have a real tree. And that's one of my favorite things about Christmas is the putting up the real tree. Because I know in my family, my grandfather and grandmother were the glue to our family. And every year, the men took the young boys out and they cut down the family tree while all the women, and I please forgive me, I don't want to sound sexist, but this was a tradition in my family. We all got together at my grandmother's house and all the women cooked. All right, and they prepared. And so when dinner was done, all the men cleaned. But we went out to the tree farm, and while the adults drank, they were entertained by us little kids trying to chop down this tree. And by the time we butchered the tree and brought it home, my grandfather's only request for anyone that was a guest, family member, immediate, new, or whatever, was to bring an ornament. And my grandfather would basically pick an ornament off the tree and we would all gather around and he would tell the most amazing stories about that one ornament. And I wish to this day that we had the technology that I could have recorded some of those Christmas stories because my grandfather was a world-class storyteller, which is the reason why the only story I got is Sprinkles, the True Spirit of Christmas.
Oh, what a beautiful memory. And then in the end, that's all we have, right? We don't have all of the stuff, and we don't have the trophies and our diplomas and degrees and all the things that we spend our lifetime accumulating, that in the end, all we have is our memories. And that's what you've been sharing. So many examples of lovely memories that you hold on to and you still remember. So lovely.
Oh, I so love Christmas. Now, this is an issue, and a lot of people go through this. We have trouble with resolve, coming up with solutions, and holidays seems to bring out the worst in people, more so than funerals and weddings. Um, what is your advice Is it necessary to settle disputes just because it's the holiday? But you being a person of happiness, what do you say to someone that is harboring ill will over a friend, a family member, or just an acquaintance over the holidays?
Mhm.
Any advice?
So Jesus asked us to turn the other cheek. What that is really asking of us is to recognize that that individual is disconnected from the truth of that which they are. The truth of that which we all are is love, peace, and happiness. At our core, our original nature is always loving, at peace, and happy. We are made in the likeness of our creator. We are unconditional love at our core. But when people are disconnected from that, they act in ways that are opposite the love, peace, and happiness for various reasons. Mother Teresa, one of her like favorite quotes of mine, said that she saw Jesus in everyone. And what that means is that we have to look past the physical shell and to look at the spirit behind the body. And that part of us is the same, that we're all energetically connected, that we are all droplets of the same ocean, and that it is to be very big of us to be able to recognize that this person is disconnected from their truth. Because if they were connected, they would never behave the way that they are. They are very far away from that truth. And so, again, we need to offer forgiveness for the way that they're at. And of course, it's hard, but forgiveness is also a way for us to feel better about the situation, feel better about ourselves, feel better about them. We could be offering forgiveness all day long because, as you said, especially during the holidays, people seem to be being pulled away. They're like pressure cookers, that just the tiniest little thing, like you take their parking spot at the mall, it's like and you're like, oh my god, it was just a parking spot. Like but this is people are on a limit. And so we have to offer so much forgiveness and compassion for their attitude by understanding they're disconnected. And when you do the inner work and you're connected to the love that you are, it is easy and easier to offer that love and compassion to others because you can see the pain that they're in and you can understand that they're disconnected. And so, what we can do is only be like a mentor or to be an example of what it means when we're connected. And so to just and to be that for that individual, to not engage in arguments, to just, maybe just let it go, to give them the parking spot, to just maybe appease in whatever way that you can, but doing that in the sense from you're coming from a place of love and wishing them that they, find their way back to who they really are.
All right. So with that said, um, what does it take from you to be the bigger person?
Mhm.
All right. Or what does it add to you being the bigger person? And why is it necessary for you to be the bigger person? And the reason why I ask this is because I hear all the time, sometimes I just want to be that guy that just tells someone to go F off.
Mhm.
But I don't have that in my DNA. You know, I say good morning to everyone. And then sometimes people look at me and walk away, walk right by me and won't say anything. And I'll repeat, good morning. And then my last thing is I said, God bless you as I walk away. I don't know if that's my little tit or dig in there, but I normally want to make sure that whatever's negative for you doesn't become part of my DNA. I mean well to everyone, and sometimes I feel sorry for people that don't have it in their heart to acknowledge people. is it better to give than to receive? Is it better to forgive than to carry a grudge? I mean, if we're keeping score, who wins?
That's right. Do you want to be do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? You have to ask that, and I mean that's a great question to ask in any relationship, right? Do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? To be happy means that sometimes you let sleeping dogs lie or something like I love idioms, but I get them wrong all
Yeah.
the time.
No, you got that one right.
Okay. So sometimes it does mean that you don't continue to engage in some kind of argument just so that you can be right, but then you hurt the relationship on a deeper level because you're choosing to be right. I think that the more you are connected to the love that you are, it's easier to offer that love and compassion to others because you can only be that with everyone, with yourself and with everyone. It's like how on the flip side, when you love yourself, that then that emanates into everyone and everything that you do naturally, and you wish the best for everybody, that there's no jealousy, there's no envy, that you want everyone to succeed, that you understand the universe is abundant, that that everybody can be limitless, there's potential for everybody, that and you want everyone, you only want the best for everybody. And so that's on the positive side, but on same thing when somebody is acting on the negative is that you also want to be that same person and just to shower them with more love. When I go around, I can only be my true self, which is this ray of sunshine, this happiness fairy that goes around sprinkling dust on everyone. And I hope that my energy that I'm bringing out and sharing with everyone somehow impacts people. But I can't be focused on what the energy that they're bringing to the situation. All I can do is be me and hope that when I go around, that my smile, my laughter, my humor, that all of this happens to uplift somebody, even if it's just for the 30 seconds that they're engaging with me or for longer. And I often find that people say that after they leave my company, that they feel so much better about themselves, about their day, because everything in the end is all energy. And so people feel it and know that when you go about your day being, as you said, saying hello to everybody, wishing everybody well, that it does impact someone. Maybe they don't say it directly, to you, but they go away thinking, wow, that was really nice that he said that to me. You don't know how it impacted somebody, but all you can do is just be your true and authentic self. It's not toxic positivity, it's real positivity. It's you sharing your love and joy and peace with everyone around you because you can't be anything other than that, and know that that is an uplifter, that you are an uplifter and you're sharing your light and love with everybody. I try to go around making a positive difference in this world by just being the love, peace, and happiness that I am. And so know that that has an energetic impact on people, whether they show it to you in the moment or not. But the last thing we want to do is to have that stuff bring us down. Because what kind of light are you going to be if you allow others who are in the darkness to dim your light? We can't.
I totally agree. And I'm going to ask for forgiveness, and I'm going to say this publicly because, I remember a day, and I won't say the location, but it was in a public place, and I walked by someone that I had seen often. And normally, because of the climate that we're in, I don't actually feel safe because everyone says that Kevin doesn't have a filter. I just like people being honest and being honest with me. So I have a tendency to probably be a lot more honest and direct than most people. Some people can't handle the truth, or my version of the truth. And I walked past someone, this was a couple of years ago, and I said, Merry Christmas. And the person's response to me was, It's not my holiday. And my response was, and it just caught me in the moment, and said, Not my problem either. And then I said, Oh my gosh, could have kept that in. But do we forgive those when people don't, or we're supposed to censor ourselves and be more politically correct, say happy holiday when it's Merry Christmas? Or, because I look at it, I've got friends that I celebrate Hanukkah with, I've got friends that I celebrate the other holidays with, and I acknowledge those holidays. I mean, my gamut of people in my circle is the United Nations. I'm not limited just to the month of December. It's all year round. So I recognize and respect those holidays. Should we censor our greetings to be politically correct, or should we just be authentic?
I don't want to say that my choice in choosing to use the words happy holidays is me being politically correct, but rather me wanting to be inclusive. That I want to just wish people well with whatever they're celebrating. It doesn't matter to me whether it's Christmas, whether it's Hanukkah, whether it's like Eid, in March, or whether it's like Chinese New Year or what. I'm like, I'm happy for everybody. That's all I want. I just want people to be happy doing and all the things that they do. And so I will choose to just say happy holidays just to be inclusive as, I hope that this holiday season is a joyous one for you. However, you're going to go about celebrating it, whatever traditions, whatever religious, ties you might have, doesn't, that I just want you to be happy. And so I just choose, not because I'm trying to be politically correct, but that I just want to be inclusive. And I find that those words are work for me because I don't have to be specific about, any certain holidays, that it just allows, me and everybody the freedom to just go about celebrating the season in whichever way works for them.
All right, Teresa, I know you took time out of your day in order to do this interview to talk about joy, peace, and happiness over the holidays. I know people are going to want to say, well, how do I get in touch with the happiness queen? Because you do some coaching, and it's not just for the holidays. You do coach happiness within life. How do people get in touch with you?
Thank you. They can get in touch with me by visiting my website, which is teresagreco.ca. It's Teresa with no H and Greco with a C. So you can visit my website. I'm on all the social media platforms. So you can find me on Instagram, Teresa Greco _ steps to happiness. You can find me on Facebook, Teresa Greco or steps to happiness with Teresa Greco. You can find me at YouTube at Teresa Greco _ steps to happiness, on Twitter at Teresa Greco, on TikTok, also at Teresa Greco. So I'm everywhere, just trying to share as much happiness as I can. So you can find me in any of those ways.
Right. Quick question. Holiday etiquette. If you are bringing a gift, are you responsible for help cleaning up or whatever, or do you just come eat and leave? Do you bring a good bottle of wine, or do you buy the cheapest saying that I bought something? Um, do you buy already pre-made food and create a dish and say that it's your own? What's holiday etiquette? What's the proper way of being a good guest during the holidays?
I think there's a lot of variables there as to, like, when you said expensive bottled wine and maybe one not as expensive, right? It could be that you're going to a coworker's house versus, your aunt's house. So there's a couple of variables there as to like what you may choose to bring. I think that, so to tie into the story initially that I wanted to share about how I'm doing Christmas different this year, is that I think if we go about doing all of the different things, so all of the different responsibilities and engagements and parties and all the different things we're going to be a part of, and doing it always from a place of love, we can't go wrong. But if you present yourself and your gift coming with an obligation, then it doesn't again have the same energetic impact. That if you share something because that's all you could afford, it was like, a bunch of flowers that you grabbed at the grocery store to bring over, but you're doing it as like, this is, I specifically chose this from you for you, and I'm giving it to you from a place of love, that people can feel it and you feel it as you're giving it to people. So may I share my Christmas story from last year and how I'm going to do it differently this year?
Yeah, I called to interview you. You can do whatever the hell you want to.
Thank you. And so the key learning that I took away from last year was that I I was a little upset at Christmas because I was so caught up in the fact that I had to host and that I had all these responsibilities and that I felt like people didn't help me, that even when they were at my house, they weren't helping us, in your question, do you help or do you just eat and dash or how it is? So I was like, nobody's helping me. I'm doing this all by myself. I didn't have time to spend to talk to anybody. I'm going around like with a chicken without a head for like the week before the party. Then at the party, I'm going around trying to meet everybody's needs and I'm cranky. And then afterwards, I was like, oh my God, this was just like the worst. And I had even a bad feeling in my body. I don't know if it was, oh, it was in my hips. Afterwards, Christmas Day, no, the Boxing Day, I was like, and even physically, I didn't feel well because, and a lot of the times when we have physical dis-ease in the body, it's because we have trapped energy in the body, and energies just also are just trapped emotions that we have. And so I was like, oh my God, what's all this pain in my hips? And I was having a hard time walking and my back, and I hadn't done anything in particular to hurt myself, so I didn't understand what happened. So I go inward, I connect with my inner being, I ask some questions, right? Your gut instinct, your intuition, you go inward, you try to get some understanding. And spirit revealed to me that it was because I was going around not coming from a place of love. I was coming from a place of obligation, and I have to, and I should, instead of I get to, and I want to. And so I was just going about the whole thing wrong. And so that's why when I say to you that when we do things coming from a place of love, it just changes everything. And so now when I have now I have double the amount of people that are going to come to my home. This year, I'm going to set it up where I have more things just out. Here's your food, here's your drinks. Don't ask me for anything. Everything is out. It's self-serve. Help yourself. This, and then I'm going to try to do more of the connection piece because I didn't have any memorable conversations. I didn't connect with anyone. I was disgruntled that they were all there. And that's such a terrible way to see it, that your family is there. But I didn't connect with anyone. I didn't talk to my dad, and he doesn't live near me. Like I just felt like the whole thing was just such a wash. And so I remind people that to connect to the love behind why they are buying the gift, not because they have to, but why are you selecting this gift? Why do you want to give this person this gift? And really connect to like that part of yourself and bring that out into everything that you do. So this year I am going to try to remember that when I cook the food and I put all of it out and I prepare and all the stuff behind that, I'm doing it because I love my family so much. And then if I remind myself of that, that it will just it'll have a different effect on me, that when we give, we receive so much in return. It's because, again, energetically, we're all connected. And then when I give to you, I'm actually giving to myself because the energy is just, it just goes into like one big pool, let's say. And so I anticipate that it's going to be a very different experience for me because I'm going to remain connected to like the love behind the individuals that I'm hosting and trying to like and remember the conversations, like all the things that you said that you took away from all those experiences was just being with your family, laughing and joking, having the conversations that you did. But in the end, I want that. And I don't care how much mess it'll make. Because last year I was so consumed with the mess and all the work that I totally was disconnected behind why was I doing it all. So I hope that that connects with anybody listening, because maybe it'll be a different experience for you too.
Well, I am hoping that your family members, when they see this interview, that they listen to the latter part of the conversation instead of being offended, listening to the conversation when you say that you're doing it with love. and that you love and you want your family members around. Because my biggest gift, when you ask me what I want for Christmas, the only thing I want is to have my family around. I love being with my children. I hate the fact that they've grown up and they have their own lives. They have their own people in their lives, and they don't come home for Christmas. And when I say I hate, there's love attached to it because I know you've got to grow up. So when I talk to my kids, but I will say that I do miss you. I still look at my children as those little kids that, I brought home from the hospital on their first Christmas when they were wowed by the lights and everything else. And they opened up all their gifts and they spent the whole day playing with the box instead of the contents of the gift. That I realized what Christmas was really about. And Christmas is about being with the people that you love. And then the hard part of Christmas is that it only lasts for 24 hours. Now, if I were to ask you how long that the love for Christmas should last, how long would you say Christmas should last? When do we stop celebrating Christmas?
That's such a good question. I think I'm going to just say the 2 days. I think I'm going to say just the 2 days, the Christmas Eve, the Christmas Day. And that after that, you start going into like cleaning up mode and putting all your Christmas things away. And maybe on Boxing Day, I do a little bit of binging with Netflix, which I really like to just vegging out. And okay, so let's do 3 days. What
Right.
about you?
Believe it or not, you know, I live every single day as one big celebration. I always say that I live each day the same 24 hours as any other day. So Saturday doesn't mean no different than Monday. I celebrate that like it's my last day on earth. I laugh with my friends and family like I was how I made my living. So if I was a stand-up comedian, and I will say that, to anyone that's ever got a chance to see the Kevin Hart show that I just got finished seeing that, wasn't happy with the freelance words of the N word that he used, but he was funny as crap, and I was very impressed. And I would recommend that you go with an open mind and be entertained. And then I live my life the same way that I always say when I write, connect one word to another. Words that just lay there on a page are words, but when you put them together and you put people and experience in there, it becomes your story. So I say, write your story like you're writing your own story. Mine's going to be a dramedy, but it's going to be a love story at the same time. That's how I want to live my life. How I want to end it is a love story. All right. That I'm a
Well,
lover of people. I'm a collector of people. I'm a lover of hearts. And the one thing that I will say, since I'm going to put this out there, people, do me a small favor. Stop giving pets as a Christmas gift. And the reason why I'm saying that, because some people are not ready to be pet owners and they abandon their kids, their pets, long after the new year comes in. It's unfair to the puppies. You've got to be ready just the same with a child. You can't return your children once you bring them to the house. So stop doing the pets the same way. They have a pulse just like you do. They have a heart just like you do, and it's just like your children. They wake up every single day just to please you. All right, and then you screw them up. All right. So New Year's resolutions. Do you make one, or do you just continue to live?
it's such a great question. Because I'm so hard on myself, I'm a bit of an overachiever. So I always do New Year's resolutions, trying to figure out ways that I can just be a little bit better than I was the year before. Um, I do like to think about the things that I would like to manifest in the coming year. So I think about what I would like more of, or what are the things that I would like to achieve. Um, and yeah, just how can I be just that little 1% better in all the areas that I feel like I need to step it up a notch.
All right. Well, I appreciate you giving us this time and this insight and sharing your stories. And I hope that our listeners can dissect this conversation that we've had between two friends and put a positive spin on your Christmas experience. So, you being the happiness queen, all right? Happiness, joy, and love over the holiday seasons. What do you want people to take away from the conversation you and I had today?
Mhm. Be the love, peace, and happiness that they are at their core. Connect with that. Go inward and connect. There's a fountain of love inside of you that you will not find outside. It's inside of you. And when you make time, as I say, to plug into our happiness, so happiness is like the electricity that's flowing through all the walls in your house. When you make time to plug into it, you can feel it in all aspects of yourself. Love, you're ultimately connecting to the love when you do that. And so when you connect to the love that you are, then you can only be that for yourself and everyone around you. So my advice would be connect to the love, and then that way you can be that light and love for everyone else.
That was very eloquently said. And thank you, Teresa Gecko. To my listeners, I want to thank you for coming and sharing this space with us. This was a personal conversation that I wanted to share between my friend and the universe right now, the world. If you like what you've heard, I'm going to ask over the holidays that you share this video, this interview, or go to RMK Productions and network on our YouTube page and subscribe because we're all about making a difference in someone's life. If I were to say this to you, to my listeners, I would say to grow, you must make some mistakes. To have confidence, you must address your personal anxieties. To forgive yourself, you must hold you accountable. And to learn, you must unlearn some stuff. And to exist, no matter if it's the holidays or is it every other day, you must show up more today than you did yesterday. And understand the power of your words. Your words will either build something or it'll be the first brick tossed through your bedroom window that will destroy your everlasting moment. So these are notes from me, your mindset messenger. And with that said, I'm going to wish you a happy holiday. I'm going to wish you a Merry Christmas. And I'm going to wish you much love, joy, and happiness. And Miss Greco, Teresa, my good friend, thank you for the love and your kindness and your friendship that you've always shared with me without asking for anything in return. You are truly, in my life and in my eyes, a gift to this world. My grandfather always said, when you get to a place in life that you can help someone else out, he said, it's your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said, we'll fade to black. Happy holidays, everyone.